series, a great series in momentum. So give it up for Pastor Lucas Forstoff right now. Woo!
Yes. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Here we go. You know, Jen was talking about if some of you feel like God's calling you to more, but you don't know what that means, or you want to do it, but you don't know how. This is really what this leadership meeting at my house is all about. And it's open to anybody and everybody right here, right now. So if you want to throw that address back up, you could snap a picture of that address. Next week, we'll give you some flyers with the address on it. But really, all are welcome. The existing leaders are welcome. Anybody who wants to become a leader, anybody who just wants to just feel more connected to Jen and I, we're going to just open up our home this night. We're going to have a fun night. You'll meet my kids and my dog, which will be the Christmas dog. My dog right now is supposed to be the Christmas dog at the Ugly Christmas Sweater Party. You'll meet my dog. And you'll see my house. We'll welcome you. You can sit on my couch. And it's really going to be a really good night. You know, there's times when seasons of life change, and when you're ready for that next season, you step up and you step into something more, it's so much fun. It's so much fun. And so this leadership meeting is really just going to be the start of that. So you're invited out. I want to see you there. Okay, so our bouncers are passing out green and red strips of paper as I talk right now. They're full of bucket. I want everybody right now to grab a few of these strips of paper, 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 each. And what we're going to do is right now, and there's also a pen under your seat, and there's probably a green strip already under your seat. You can grab that one too. But what we want to do right now is make our Christmas wish list. Now, how many people did this when they were a kid? Your parents were like, write out your Christmas wish list. Actually, my mom still wants, what makes me do this? Give me your Christmas list. She doesn't call it a wish list, but give me your Christmas list. I want to go shopping for you. I feel so weird giving her stuff I don't need, but I want. It's so weird. Take a few. I want you to take a few because this is what this is all about. You're not writing down gifts, people. You are writing down on this Christmas wish list somebody's name that you want to see at our Christmas party. That's the best Christmas wish of all. So on one strip of paper, write somebody's name. On another strip of paper, write another person's name. Some of you will write down 6 names, so you'll have 6 strips of paper. Some of you will write down 10 names. You'll have 10 strips of paper. But you are writing out and filling out your Christmas wish list, and this is your wish for somebody to come to Momentum to the December 20th Christmas party. It's your Christmas wish, okay? So what we want to do is we want to write up these names. We're going to gather them before you go home. We're going to gather them at the end of the service. So just take your time as I preach tonight. Think about workmates, neighbors, relatives, friends, people who aren't at church. It's a wish list. You don't have to do one wish. You can have 30 wishes, right? And so you can write down as many names as you want. But this Christmas season, nothing better this Christmas season than maybe watching your friend give their life to Jesus Christ on December 20th at our Christmas party. That would be awesome. That would be a great Christmas. Opening presents is okay. You know, being with family, sometimes it's not very cool, depending on your family. But this would make your Christmas amazing. This would be the greatest Christmas ever. And so what we're going to do is we're going to gather these tonight, and then we are going to chain them together. And we're going to make a cool chain out in the game room, and every week we're going to add to it. We're going to add to our Christmas wish list. So as we get closer to our Christmas party, the chain will grow out in the game room, and it'll be full of names that we're praying for, that you're praying for, that you're wishing and hoping will come to our Christmas service so that they will hear about Jesus, and they'll probably want to come back afterwards. Christmas wish list. Is that cool or what? All right, fill out your Christmas wish list. You know, I cannot wait for our Ugly Christmas Sweater Party. People, we're having a Christmas dog. You know, I don't know if you know what that means, but just imagine a dog running around in an ugly Christmas sweater. That's essentially what it is. And if you're afraid of dogs, don't be afraid. We will not get a mean dog here at Momentum, okay? We're not going to get a little nipper running around. You're not going to have to go to the doctors after Tuesday night service. Don't worry. And it'll be really cute and cuddly. You know, one time in Ignited, we threw a party called Whiteout Night. So we had everybody wore white. It was really cool. This whole place was full of everybody wearing white. Everybody's seen the Miami Heat when they do the Whiteout Nights on their basketball team. We did that. And we brought a dog, a white dog as well. And that dog was on stage with us all night long as we emceed and talked. It was really cool. So we're going to have a Christmas dog. This is going to be such a fun night. And it's our best party of the year. Santa will be there, I promise. And we're going to sing Christmas carols together. We're going to have a lot of fun. I don't know if you know this, but we're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be amazing. And so I'm really excited about this Christmas wish list. And it's going to be cool to watch that chain link grow. And so if you're a little bit concerned maybe about writing somebody's full name on there, just write their first name or a nickname. You don't have to reveal who this person is necessarily. It's more about making sure that they're represented on that chain. And, Jesus cares about people, and so do we. And, man, I tell you what, if that game room can be full with a really large chain link of names that we're all praying for, I think that's awesome. I think that's one of the best things we can do. All right, so we're right in the middle of our series called Sleeping Giant. Sleeping Giant. And tonight, the title of my message is Wake Up the Sleeping Giant of Thankfulness. Thankfulness. Wake up the sleeping giant of thankfulness. It's about to be Thanksgiving. But do you know how important it is to have a thankful heart? Do you actually realize that a thankful person is actually a healthier individual? Studies have proven, and science has proven, that complainers in life actually die young. That's crazy. Isn't that strange? And they get strange diseases, and they have really odd things that happen to their health. But a thankfulness is so important. And I would even say that in America, we have a real thankfulness problem. We're not very thankful people. We're not thankful for what we have. We get too familiar with what we have. And how many people, and I'm going to raise my hand on this, but how many people find it annoying to shower and shave and put on the makeup and do the hair and do the routine before you walk out the door every single day? Yeah, I find it, I'm getting an amen over here from stage right. And thanks, Taylor. I hear that amen, and it really encourages me. And, I've been around the world, and I've been to a lot of third world nations, and they would give up their left arm to have a morning routine like you have and like I have. A bathroom, clean water, a mirror, clean floors. They don't have it. They don't even get to shower. They don't get to do anything. So we have we have a thankful problem. We've got a blessing problem in America. I actually believe that even as Christians in America, if we're not careful, the blessings, look at this stage. Do you realize how awesome this stage is? We actually begin to take this for granted, right? And we begin to kind of look past it sometimes and get we get too familiar with it. And we actually tend to not appreciate what we have sometimes, don't we? I mean, come on, I do it all the time. I mean, every single month, I'm like, I want a new car. And I have to force myself not to get a new car. Is anybody else like that? You have to discipline yourself not to spend thousands of dollars on a new car. I'm like that every month. And what's wrong with me? What's wrong with us? What is our deal? Why can't we be thankful for what we have? It's a real problem. Familiarity will kill your thankfulness. Just really kill it. And one of the things that I really pray a lot about is that my love for Jen, as the years will go on in our marriage, will not shrink because of just being familiar with each other, but will grow. It will grow. And But familiarity, easy for you to say, will kill your thankfulness, will kill your love for life. Man, I don't ever want to get used to Jesus. I don't ever want to figure him out. And it's crazy. Once you feel like you've figured out Jesus, you've figured out church, he will flip the script on you. He will turn a brand new side towards you and blow you away, won't he? And I don't ever want to get familiar with Jesus. I don't ever want to figure Jesus out. The Bible actually says that he's a mystery. He's a mystery. And just never become familiar with him, but always be astounded with the mystery of Jesus, with his love for you. Wake up the sleeping giant of thankfulness. Wake it up. Man, let's read Luke chapter 17, verses 11 through 19. It says this. As Jesus continued on toward Jerusalem, he reached the border between Galilee and Samaria. As he entered a village there, 10 men with leprosy stood at a distance, crying out, Jesus, Master, have mercy on us. He looked at them and said, Go show yourselves to the priests. And as they went, they were cleansed of their leprosy. One of them, when he saw that he was healed, came back to Jesus shouting, Praise God. Could you imagine being healed of leprosy? And when he realized that he was healed, he came back to Jesus shouting, Praise God. Shouting. There's just a thankfulness inside of him coming out. Can you feel it? Man. Verse 16, he fell to the ground at Jesus' feet, thanking him for what he had done. And it says that this man was a Samaritan. Jesus asked, Didn't I heal 10 men? Where are the other 9? Has no one returned to give glory to God except this foreigner? And Jesus said to the man, Stand up and go. Your faith has healed you. And so thankfulness has been an issue for thousands of years. We've been spoiled brats for generations upon generations apparently now. Man, can you imagine? I don't understand this verse, but what it means is that, I don't understand it because how can you not come back and just be thankful that Jesus healed you of leprosy? Where are they at? What are they doing? Why aren't they thankful? I truly believe that this one man who came back to thank Jesus, I guarantee he's better off than those other 9. His heart is better off. His soul is better off. His spirit is better off because of this. Listen to what 1 Thessalonians 5:18 says. It says, Be thankful in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you who belong to Christ Jesus. Be thankful in all circumstances. It's not hard to be thankful when everything is going your way and all the dominoes are falling in place and everybody is doing what you want them to do and you're getting promotions and raises like crazy and you're getting straight A's in your class accidentally. It's easy to be thankful in those circumstances, but it says in all circumstances. Am I preaching to anybody tonight? Has anybody ever felt like you've gotten bad news? You were knocked down, you were knocked out, you were taken back, you don't know how to respond? Do you have a thankful heart in those circumstances? Because that's really where God's looking. Anybody can be thankful when everything's going your way. But what are you doing? Are you thankful even when it's not going your way? That's hard. Let's be honest. Car breaks down. You get fired from your job. Girlfriend breaks up with you. Best friend get in a fight with your best friend. When you lay your head down at the end of that day, are you thankful? And I don't know. I don't know if I'd sleep much that night. Tossing and turning, wondering what's going on in my life. God, why is this happening to me? God is looking for a thankful heart in that circumstance as well. Listen to what Colossians 3:15 says. It says, And let the peace that comes from Christ rule in your hearts. For as members of one body you are called to live in peace and always be thankful. So what does thankfulness produce? It produces 3 things tonight. Thankfulness will produce 3 things in your life. And number 1, it's this: praise. Thankfulness will produce a praise in you. It'll produce a praise. And I want to really explain this more to you. I believe people who are really thankful for Jesus really worship him. Really worship him. Really thankful for Jesus. They're the people who really praise him, who really worship him. And I think you'll get a sense of how thankful people are and how they physically worship, how their heart praises Jesus. It's proof of your thankfulness. And a thankful person praises Jesus. And a thankfulness will produce a praise, won't it? It'll produce it. And it's so sad. It's so difficult to see this sometimes. But when you ever had a great group of friends and you're friends for a lot of years and you start to get in little arguments every now and then one person leaves the friend group. He just leaves the group. And it brings this odd, dark spot now in in the group dynamic. And you know what? A thankful person will think twice about leaving that group. They will. The thankful person will think twice before they make such a quick decision to just disconnect. And a thankful person, they're willing to forgive. They're willing to forgive. And I want to just say this tonight. I want to encourage you in this. This is when you don't quit. You ready? Because I've actually preached messages that it's good to quit. Because if you got an addiction in your life, quit it. If you're a bad human being, quit, right? You should quit some things in life. But this is when you don't quit. Don't quit when you're tired. Don't quit on Monday. That's what they always tell pastors. Don't quit on Monday. And, nobody wants to go to work on Monday. Nobody wants to go to school on Monday. Nobody wants to get up Monday. Don't quit when you're tired. Don't quit when you're bored. Just because you're bored with something, it's not a sign. It's not a sign that you just have to quit and find something else in life. I don't think it's a sign to quit. Don't quit when you get offended. Please. Because you got to work it out. And here's the thing. If you quit when you're offended, you'll end up coming back around to fix that offense. It'll come back around eventually. So maybe you can just get it fixed sooner than later, because you'll come back around to it. You'll come back around to it. So don't quit when you get offended. Don't quit when you get restless. Don't quit when you get restless. And this is different from being bored. Bored is you're just dead, you know what I'm saying? But restless means you have a bit of this energy to you, and you just need to drop everything and go do something else. Don't quit when you feel restless. A thankful heart will lift up a praise to Jesus that's unreasonable. Unreasonable. And I want to tell you right now, most of the times when you come to church, you're going to have to worship Jesus and praise Jesus when you don't feel like it. When you first give your heart to the Lord and you're a brand new Christian, every single time you come to church, it's the best day of your life. You're it doesn't get any better, but it'll start to I hate to say this, but you will come down off that super hype. And you'll normalize. And you'll have to praise Jesus with discipline. And God's looking for that. It's not emotion that you're praising Jesus with. When I'm up here jumping, I'm not jumping off emotion. I'm not jumping off feelings. I'm jumping because I'm obedient to Jesus. And I'm thankful for what Jesus has done. And I'm not looking at my circumstances, and I'm not thinking about conversations I had today or yesterday. I'm focusing on a disciplined praise to Jesus. That's called a thankful heart right there. And we all need that. We all need that. Wouldn't it be a shame if every single person you relied on in your life lived off emotion and feelings? Everybody around you would be quitting all the time. And you can't live like that. You can't live as a parent like that. You can't live as a spouse like that. You can't live as a Christian like that. You can't just quit when you're bored, restless, tired, or offended. You must stick to it. Thankfulness. I'm going to praise no matter what. I got knocked down. I'm going to praise Jesus. I got offended. I'm going to praise Jesus. I'm a little bit tired and weary, but I'm going to go to church and I'm going to praise Jesus. Does anybody have a thankful heart tonight? Praise Jesus. It's all about that. Listen to this. Everybody's always concerned about getting too hyped in church. Oh, let's reserve it a little bit. I've been to sporting events where people wear other men's names on their back. And they go crazy for their quarterback. They go insane when a touchdown is scored. They freak out if there's an interception. They get wasted at the arena, partying so hard for a team that doesn't care about them. But then we have God in heaven who created you, who has called you, who has not put you in the stands and make you watch, but has put you on the team. You're not wearing somebody else's name on your back. You're wearing your name on your back, and he's clothed you in righteousness, and you're not on the sideline. You're playing in the game. You're on the starting team, and I think you should get hyped about that. I think you should get excited about that. And I think we should go cray in here more than we go at the football game. That's what I think. Church should be wild because we're on the team. Has anybody been on a sporting team? The locker room's the best part. Has anybody been in the locker room before the game starts? It's crazy in there. And nobody's walking around going, please be polite. Turn the music down. Watch your language. But we get in church and we're like, shh, don't yell so loud. Don't yell Jesus like that. Just tone it down. I like sitting during worship. That ain't me, man. I'm on the team. I'm prepping in the locker room. I've been prepping in the locker room all day around my message, and I'm getting pumped up. And so when I hit the stage, it's not fake energy. It's a thankful heart. And it's just this excitement that I'm on the team. And you're on the team. And that's crazy. And that's, man, wake up that sleeping giant of thankfulness. And thankfulness will produce praise. And number 2, thankfulness will produce joy. It'll produce a joy in you. And I'll never forget what Dr. Mark Rutland said, or he wrote it in his book. I read his book. I've heard him preach a couple times. I don't know if he preached it to me, if he wrote it in his book. But he said this. He used this example. He said, if you need more energy, you remember this? When he was talking about getting actual physical energy. If you need physical energy, the best thing you can do is actually start to exert energy. Do you know that? Like if you're really sleeping or laying on the couch and you feel like you're just so low energy, do you actually know the only way to start getting energy is to get up off the couch and get moving around, and as you move around, you'll actually get energy. It's an actual physical reality. But the same is true with our joy. And a thankfulness will produce a joy. And I want to just encourage you in this tonight. You might not be full of joy right now. And we're about to go in the Christmas season. And for you, the Christmas season could be a sad time. It could remind you of a lonely period in your life. It could remind you of a death in the family. And it can be a sad time for you. But I want to just encourage you with this. Is that sometimes, in order to feel joy come up inside you, you actually need to start exerting a joy. Start talking about joyful things. Start living a joyful lifestyle. Start smiling more. Start enjoying life. And you know what? You will begin to actually produce joy as you exert joy. It'll happen for you. You cannot rely on somebody else to fill up your joy tank. You cannot. It was truly up to you. And a thankful heart will actually start to produce joy in you. And you know, church should be enjoyed and not endured. No church that is just endured fills up and packs out on a Sunday morning. Church should be enjoyed, not endured. And I even want to encourage you in this. Don't just say, oh, I guess I get to go to church. I guess I'm going to go to church tonight. I guess I'm going to go to church this morning. You should say, I get to go to church tonight. I get to go to church this morning. There's a joy there. There's a feeling of joy there. There's something there. So joy. Is that good stuff or what? Number 3, last point, is that thankfulness will produce a healthy heart. Thankfulness will actually produce in you a healthy heart. Here's what being thankful, even for the little things, will do for you. It will actually get rid of an offended spirit that's in you. It will. Find something, small as it may be, something to be thankful about. And you will start to forget about all the little offenses that happened throughout the day, or the big offenses that happened last week, or the huge offense that happened last year. And you start to get thankful, you actually will begin to feel your offended spirit shrink away. Shrink away. You'll never feel better by getting back at that person. You'll never feel more healthy. You'll never feel like, oh, now I'm centered by getting back at the person that offended you. It only happens when you start to actually get thankful in life, and it starts to shrink away. You'll have a healthy heart. Thankfulness will get rid of offense. Thankfulness will actually give you strength. How many people want a nice, strong heart as you age? Right? I mean, literally, physically a strong heart. Like nobody's like, maybe around 50 I'll get a heart attack. Yeah. Everybody's like, no. I want to die in my late 90s, early 100s, asleep. Just go to sleep and not wake up. Like, right? Strong, healthy heart. Like, a thankfulness will actually strengthen your heart. Strengthen your heart. Strengthen you from the inside out. This is good stuff. A thankfulness, it'll get rid of those bondages in your life. Those bondages that are holding you back, or things that you feel like are wrapping around you all the time that you cannot break out of. You ever feel like you've just been wrapped up for a really long time and like you're tired of being in bondage to stupid stuff? A thankful heart will break those chains of bondage and will free you up. It'll free you up. Here's how you know when you got bondage issues. When you're angry at somebody that you haven't talked to in a really long time. When you find yourself having arguments with somebody that's not actually happening, but you're always winning the argument. Does anybody else do that? When you can't sleep at night because you're frustrated with things. You're frustrated with life. You're frustrated with people around you. That's just living in this like nasty bondage. And a thankful heart will just break off those chains, break off those ropes that are binding you up, and will give you peace. It'll give you peace. Man, thankfulness gets you a healthy heart. And I really truly believe that having a thankful spirit just heals you. It just heals you. And listen to what happened. I read you about those 10 lepers, and at the last verse, Luke 17:19, go ahead, put Luke 17:19, it says, and Jesus said to the man, stand up and go, your faith has healed you. Has healed you. But I thought he was already healed. What's this additional healing about here? This additional healing is you can't tell me that the man with leprosy hasn't been angry at somebody and something and God for a long time because of this nasty disease that he got that he never asked for, right? And I bet his spirit just got healed. His heart got healed. And a thankful heart, God will reward a thankful heart. God will reward you when you bow at his knee. God will reward you when you lift up a praise to him like this leper did. God will not just heal you of your sickness, will come on in and heal you of the better thing, heal your heart. Heal your heart. And I'll never forget, I'll end with this. I'm almost over. I'm almost done. But there was a few years ago, maybe 7 years ago now, Jen and I got married, and a bunch of crazy stuff happened in our first year of marriage. Jen had 2 emergency surgeries where they actually ended up removing about 18 inches of your small intestine, and she was like almost died twice, and I had to go to the hospital for 2 surgeries back to back. I had to take her to the emergency room once. She had the surgery. I took her home. All of a sudden, it happened again. I had to rush her back to the ER. Days later, she had to have this another major surgery on her, and I was full of fear that this would happen again. And then our identity got stolen. Remember that? And all in this first year of marriage, and I was living in fear. I was living in fear that something bad was just going to happen again that I don't have control over. And I'll never forget coming to church for our convention services. We do these really special revival services at our church in May. And we were at convention that year. And I was praying to God, Lord, heal my wife. Lord, heal my wife. I don't want her to ever have this thing happen to her ever again, ever again. And I was realizing that I was full of fear on the inside of myself. And God, when I came to every service and I was just at the altar, every opportunity I got, I was lifting up praise even when the circumstances were dark and even when I was doubting in my own heart. And all of a sudden I felt a rush of fear go away. And I was free. I was free. But you know what? That would have never happened if I just would have secluded myself and reclused back into a darkness and shied away from church and got away from all the people around me that cared about me. And it only happened when I was able to get brave enough to come out into the open and say, God, I've got a real problems here, but I'm going to praise you anyway. I'm going to praise you anyway. And I got healed. My insides were healed, and she was healed physically too. But God wants to do more than just heal you physically. He wants to make you come alive on the inside. And a thankfulness will do that for you. Let me read to you Mark chapter 5, 2 through 6. This is my last verse tonight. We'll have the band come out as I read this. It says, when Jesus climbed out of the boat, a man possessed by an evil spirit came out from the tombs to meet him. This man lived in the burial caves and could no longer be restrained, even with a chain. Whenever he was put into chains and shackles, as he often was, he snapped the chains from his wrists and smashed the shackles. No one was strong enough to subdue him. Day and night he wandered among the burial caves and in the hills, howling and cutting himself with sharp stones. When Jesus was still some distance away, the man saw him, ran to meet him, and bowed low before him. And just a few verses later, Jesus casts out of this man 2,000 demons. And he came into his right mind. He became normal again. But listen to what happened before that healing took place. It says in verse 6, he ran to meet him. This guy bound up, not just by demons, but physically with ropes and chains, living in the graveyard, saw Jesus from a distance, ran to him, bowed low before him. I believe that posture that this crazy man, literally crazy man, took was the beginning and the first step for his healing in his life. And tonight, you don't need to figure out what's binding you up and what's holding you back and trying to diagnose every little thing about you. Forget all that. Run to Jesus, bow low at his feet, and let him heal you tonight. Let that thankfulness rush in. Let it come back. Let's make this Thanksgiving season, this Christmas season, let's make it the best yet for ourselves. And it starts in here. Let's make it the best yet. Let's stand to our feet. We're going to worship in just a bit. But I want to encourage you tonight with this. Because right before Jesus went to the graveyard to meet this one man, he was on the other side of the lake. Because it said that in the beginning of that verse that Jesus climbed out of a boat and walked into this graveyard to meet this man. Before he was there, Jesus was with his 12 disciples on the other side of the lake preaching to thousands from a boat. They said the crowd was so large and was pressing in on him so hard that he had to get off of the land, and he got into a boat, and they pushed the boat away from shore so he could preach. And I'm like, I bet Jesus is thinking, I should just step out of this water, step out on the water and blow their minds. He's like, too soon. And he's preaching to thousands. You can read it for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Go ahead, when you go home tonight, read this. And this is like the first thing that him and his disciples, this brand new disciples, it's early. This is Mark chapter 2. This is early. He had just gathered his disciples. This is like the first thing that his 12 disciples have been a part of. And they're probably thinking, if this is the beginning, what's next? And Jesus is like, get in this boat. We're going to the other side. And they're probably thinking, oh, man, there's probably 20,000 people on the other side. And they get out of the boat. And Jesus walks into a graveyard. And they're like, what's going on? What? This is scary. And there's one man. One. Jesus leaves thousands to find the one crazy man nobody cares about. And he heals him. And Jesus is doing that today. He is leaving upon thrones of angels worshiping him in heaven. He wants to come right down to you tonight. Think about that. That makes me want to cry. I'm thankful. I'm thankful Jesus will leave crowds that want to make him a king and put a crown on his head. I'm so thankful he wants to leave the crowds and he wants to just look you in the eye and just heal you. He cares about you. And let's worship. Can we worship a little bit? I'm thankful for the great band. I'm thankful you're here tonight. I'm thankful Jesus is on the throne. I'm thankful he died for me, and I'm thankful he rose again from the dead for me. I'm thankful he conquered sin. He conquered death for me. And he did it for you, and I tell you what, that makes me want to worship a little bit. Let's just worship for a song. Can we do that? All right, let's go.